Hello and welcome. We're currently about to start a very new adventure in the world of Street Fighter 1987 using the Street Fighter storytelling by White Wolf Games. A bit of a black sheep and unknown system based on the original sort of VTM first and second edition. Everything else is done. Alright, so we're going to dive in here. I'm going to undeafen everybody and we'll see where it goes. We'll do a quick round of introductions and we're going to dive into character creation. Alright, we're in. We are here.
That just made me chuckle because I went to high school in a kind of a rural part of Southern Maryland, but like none of my friends would have ever in 1,000 years while we were in high school ever said anything about being country or being a redneck or living the country life or living the country music. And now like half of them are all about that shit. They're wearing boots and belt buckles that can block bullets, and I'm like, who are you people? None of one of you's ever been on a horse.
But I'm not sure it worked.
Yeah,
the conversation just kept going. All right, we're live, folks. If you can tell, we're
hi, folks.
Outfit.
Hello.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do some quick player introductions here, and we'll go from there. We'll start with the guy I don't know yet. M. M. Is what I see for your name.
Matt?
Is it
Yeah,
Matt?
it'd be Matt, because you got the stream thing on, so it doesn't show the full title.
Weird. Okay, I see everyone else's full title. So, no idea
I don't
why.
know what's going on then. I think it's because it's an actual Discord tag.
Gotcha. All right, good to know. Matt, why don't you give anyone who might listen or watch this one day a bit of a general about yourself and what you do as far as a gaming perspective?
Okay, hey, my name's Matt. I'm in my mid-40s, been gaming since I was 10 years old. Started out probably like most people in Dungeons & Dragons and have moved across to various Star Wars and Paranoia and more recently the Alien the RPG, which I like a lot from Free League. If you guys haven't played it, I recommend it. I was in love with Street Fighter in high school and college, probably lost a couple of years of my life and a bunch of bad grades. I probably could have gotten better if I hadn't been playing it so much.
That's fair.
Back then, I haven't really done anything lately with anything. I kind of got away from video games and computer games a while ago, but still role play and play board games. I bought all the Street Fighter role playing game stuff in the '90s. I've done a lot of character creation and looked around at things, but I never actually have played it. And so when I saw that you were running this, I figured I'd jump at the chance because I never got a chance back in the day. So figured, why not?
Awesome. All right. Why don't we continue on with, we'll go to Mark next.
Hello, I am Mark. I am a regular over here at Tickingtimebob. I also have my own stuff. I'm also known as the Cat's Meow, and I'm excited to do some fun, campy Street Fighter stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome. Rebecca next.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm also a regular over here in this gaming community of Tickingtimebobs, and I'm also part of some of Mark's projects. This is a lot of fun. I've been doing lots of role-playing games for most of my adult life, and it's pretty much my greatest joy to be able to be a part of anything from the most cheesy and ridiculous to super duper serious.
It's fair. It's fair. We'll go to, I wanted to say Bruins, just because that's where I know you best. Lassam Bruja. Let's go with that one.
My name's Bert. I've been gaming since my dad kind of introduced me to it when I was, at this point, I think it was 30 years ago now. I normally play Sir Barunius. I am like the new guy on the block. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to kicking people in the head.
That's fair.
And other play.
Alright, and last but not least, we'll go to Jeremy.
Morning all. My name's Jeremy. I'm the Australian contingent. I play Sir Tiberius in the Open Pen Dragon. I've been playing role-playing games since 1984. Yes, I am that old. Starting way back in D&D. I played and GM'd Street Fighter back when it came out and absolutely loved it. So I'm super excited to play some more now.
Awesome. Alright, so before we dive in any further, I'm just going to fix some audio things. So give me 1 sec to set this up. I think we're in a better spot. Let me just do one more thing here. Testing. Okay, yeah, not quite. Let's see if I can fix this too.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, let's... Oh, there we go. Got it. I didn't want my fan blowing in the background. I had to set the settings to filter that out. Now we're good. Alright, let's go ahead and dive into character creation. And I will do my best to present what we're doing on the screen.
Wonderful.
Let me start.
Sounds like a plan.
Just looking to see if I've got the Roll20 screen. If not, I have to do that quick. Window capture, Roll20.
Boy, while you're doing this, can I just say that it is wild to see, like, our Pendragon characters.
Yeah, right?
As like
Don't
a
worry,
Street Fighter.
that'll swap live, right? So
No, it's
that's
great.
our next game. Surprise.
Somebody's got to suplex
Could
a
you
Saxon.
imagine? They could just punch someone. I'm sure that will be
The old
fun.
Saxon suplex, I see.
I am sure Barunius would absolutely get murdered right quick.
Oh,
Alright, let's
so fast. Depending on who I'm
stay out of
playing.
cross
Goodness.
meta universes
Yes.
yet for conversation.
One day.
For
But,
few people that don't
My
pay
main
attention.
move was gonna be the
Yeah,
the
you got it.
Excalibur strike.
Lightning bolts are coming. Alright, so let's talk about character creation. Everyone, I think, should be able to create your own sheets in the new Roll20. Maybe let me know. Oh, looks like everyone's ahead of me there. I am looking for nothing. When I say wacky, I understand we're in Street Fighter universe. So let me take it a leg further. I'm not looking for like animal hybrids or like cyborgs at this point. I want people to be people for this part. So
People
Well-
are people.
Oh,
so
shucks.
when you
That goes my backup character.
Straight up disrespecting Blanca. Ugh.
Blanca wasn't in Street Fighter 1. So
That's true. Most of them were.
indeed. All right, so we're gonna make this a short series, and then we'll kind of see where we go from here. The themes are more attuned to, for this game, think more in terms of if you've ever played those old side-scrolling beat-em-ups, it's gonna feel a little more like that than it is going to be Street Fighter 2 or the Street Fighters we know and love. Don't worry, we'll get there, and there will be aspects of that still. But for the setting and era, we're kind of theming this after the original Street Fighter and the game Final Fight. That being said, you're going to put a fighter together the same way the Street Fighter storytelling game tells you to do so. So for Martial Mayhem, why don't we start with some discussions? Does anyone have a high concept ready?
I think
Yeah,
that's
Matt
the
and I were
toughest really
kind
do.
of working
mine's-
on our characters pretty.
That's a lot of cross talk.
I'm
Maybe.
just doing it now. Everything else is already done for my guy.
Yeah, so there might be some custom rules, so just be prepared to have to backtrack anyone who went forward. First and foremost, cartwheel kick is not as written in the original vanilla books. If you went with that, go ahead and remove that, light it on fire, and sail it down the sea, because that is a piece of shit and super broken. So
Yes.
so
Your
much so that
backflip
it's like
kick
one of the
was
only
bad.
formal erratas they wrote in this original game was that errata of this is garbage. Actually, just remove it from the game because it's super broken.
And there goes my character, Spinny McSpinny.
Hey, there's still gonna be a cartwheel kick. It's just a revised cartwheel kick. The one in the rules is not there. So,
Yeah, I've pretty much statted out, which I apologize. I wasn't aware that that was dumb
it's
on my
okay,
part.
but we're gonna focus on the high concepts for now. So,
Right.
yeah, it's all good. So, all I need from everybody, maybe we'll go left to right on my screen, and then if you are, if you're not ready yet to talk about the high concept, no more than 5 words. It's more than 5 words won't fit on your sheet, and it's not a high concept. And then ideally fighting style if you have it. If you're not there yet, totally okay, totally cool. We'll start with you, Matt.
Street Justice Enforcer, and her style is Kung Fu.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Mark.
My concept is the Outback Legend.
Okay. I'm getting Crocodile Dundee vibe to this. Is that-
Oh, very much.
Okay. I feared such. Fair enough. That's awesome. All right, we'll go to Rebecca next.
Protege of a legendary master.
Okay. Awesome. And do you have a fighting style for that yet?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu. We will go
also,
next.
my
Yeah.
fighting style is boxing. Boxing.
Boxing. And I might persuade you to go with something else. We'll see. Or
Let me know that.
for a croc done as we'll go on. We'll see. Robert, what do you got?
I'm doing Taekwondo Cowboy.
Sounds good. By the way, if you don't want me to misspeak your names or what you prefer to go by, if you change your Roll20 name, because that's what people will see as well, like the viewers. And I'll probably screw that up less. Perfect. And then finally, we'll go to Jeremy.
Yeah, my concept is School of Hard Knocks, and he learned jiu-jitsu at the local YMCA.
Okay.
Time to throw at the wall.
I mean, a lot of kids learn to kick at the YMCA.
Yeah.
It is fun to stay at the YMCA.
That's what the song says.
That's right.
Yeah.
Village
I
people-
myself have
Just to
taught
refute
people
it.
how to stab at the YMCA.
I mostly just played basketball there.
I was a circus oh my god, not fanboy, but the word's escaping me. The person that follows them around.
Roadie?
Yeah,
Groupie?
groupie. Yeah,
Volker?
I was a circus groupie for the YMCA.
Not sure I was ever in a YMCA as a child, but my kid did summers and swam and stuff there.
There you go. Hey, Gold Public, welcome. All right, let's get this show underway. So, anything you're using as far as the core books to put stuff together, please use that 20th anniversary edition. It revises a number of things from formal errata, and that's what we'll be focusing on. And then I wanted to kind of go over building those combat cards, just to make sure they're going to be a major part of how we do things here. So the combat cards, effectively, this game uses kind of more like a board game mechanic, where you all kind of pick something and you have it in your hand, and that's the one you've chosen, and everyone flips at the same time. So I think having the actual cards is going to be important for trying to emulate this online. Not at the same time, but you know what I mean. Like everyone chooses their card at the same time, and then the reveal goes from there. So what we are likely to do is have everyone. I'm not going to have the roller up on this one. We're probably going to speak to our roles a bit more, and you're going to send what your when you choose a certain combat feature, you're gonna click the button, because I've got macros set up, and it's gonna send it to the DM. So that'll be like your chosen card, and then we'll have you actually reveal on the actual sheet for people as well. So hope that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So for now, let's go ahead and just go through character creation to the best of our ability. It's something I don't have myself prepared for. Give me a second. I had the Street Fighter 20th up, and then I stopped. Let me pull that up. I shall move that over here just so the stream audience can see what we're doing. All right, and Jeremy, you have experience in this game. It's been a long time since I've played. There will probably be a point where I ask for a kind of a graceful interjection, but for now, I think I'd more than welcome your assistance as we go through the character creation section. So I will just I will start, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to start with a basic character, and you're going to be kind of leveling up quicker than normal for how we're playing this, because it's a bit more like a movie vibe, where there'll be acts that you play through. So step one is the character concept, which we've just talked through. Step two, we're going to talk about attributes. So anyone who's ever played the classic storyteller system, you got your physical, social, and mental which are divided into subcategories of 3, and you're going to assign 7, 5, and 3 to them. I know we have a very vampire-heavy group of players here, so I don't think we're going to confuse a lot of people with this. But if anyone has any questions, let me know.
I've never played the storyteller system. I have the Street Fighter stuff, like I mentioned, but that's the only thing. I'm not a vampire guy, but or a horror genre in general. But so if I get a little behind, I apologize.
Oh no, it's all good. I wanted to check with Jeremy, when you assign 753, is it work like normal where it's just 1 dot in each and then you go to 753? Like, does everything by default start at 1 dot? Okay.
Yeah, so everything attributes wise starts at 1 dot, but abilities and nothing else does. It's only the attributes that start at 1.
Yeah. Abilities start at 0 because they're like your talents, skills, and knowledges. Is everyone already gotten through step 2?
I have on my end.
No, but it's not going to take me very long.
No. Why don't we do it? I know. I don't think we're in a rush for this. We're gonna do this over a couple different sessions. So.
All right.
So we'll let everyone get through. I wish there. You know what I missed?
752, right?
753.
753.
Yeah.
I'm done.
All right, that's done.
All right. When do we get to select generation?
Oh wait, that's done in the background. Yeah.
That's on background, and I don't know if you can select the Satsuno Hado, but if you can,
If only.
if you can, you die the first.
You fucking die.
Akuma comes and hunts your ass down.
Right away. Yeah.
Excuse my language.
If you want a
That's-
bit of a recap of...
My dad's a sailor, man. No worries.
What was that, Jeremy?
do you want a bit of a rundown of how the attributes sort of work with regard to Street Fighter?
Yeah, that would probably be good for everyone actually.
Right. So with regard to the physical ones, so strength, the actual damage you do from your attack is going to be your strength stat plus whatever your technique is, so like punch or kick or what. So you'll add strength plus, for example, kick. That'll give you your total amount for the damage. Then what you do is you minus your opponent's stamina. So say, for example, you have a total of 8 from your strength and your kick. So you're doing a maneuver that has a plus 0. So you go, okay, I'm going to do 8 damage to you. You have a stamina of 3, so it's actually only 5. So then you take your 5 dice, you roll your 5 dice, and anything 6 plus causes 1 point of damage. So that's how strength works for that, and stamina as well. The only other thing with stamina is we have a mechanic in this game called Dizzy. And what Dizzy means is if someone does your stamina level of damage to you in a single attack, you become what's called Dizzy. So if you remember playing the old fighting game, how sometimes your guy would just stand there like swaying backwards and forwards like he doesn't know what's going on, that's Dizzy.
Mhm.
So if ever you get dizzy, if ever you get dizzied, you essentially lose your next turn. It's considered dishonorable to hit a dizzied opponent. You can sort of get yourself a little bit of honor for taking a turn to show off and whatnot instead. So that's your sort of strength and stamina. Your dexterity, everything is speed. So say, for example, I want to do a fierce punch and it has a category of dex -1, for example. So say you had a dex of 3, you do a fierce punch, so your move would actually go on a 2 because the card that you've played, the fierce punch, has a speed -1, so dex -1.
Awesome.
Got you.
Social attributes are pretty much exactly like what you've played in Storyteller and whatnot. Mental, it's the same sort of thing with regard to like Vampire if you played that. The only difference here is wits is a little bit different in the fact of when you're looking at speed. So what happens, what's very interesting about the system is Two people will reveal the card they're playing. Okay? Then what happens is the person who has the slower speed acts first. Then the person with the higher speed at any point can interrupt their movement. So say, for example, I'm doing a forward kick, which is a reasonably quick thing. It's got like a speed 0, for example, so it might be my depth 3. Where someone else is doing a big roundhouse kick, which is a heavy kick. So they're a little bit slower than me. So what happens when the turn starts is the person who's slowest goes first. So that person like steps up to me and they go to turn their back and do a big roundhouse kick, and I go, haha, I'm quicker than you, and I kick you in the back. Now,
what that emulates is kind of, if you think about, if you've ever played any like of these pretty common structured fighting games, it's those little interrupts and counters that you do, right? So it's like there's always like a rock, paper, scissors in these games, and something will beat something else. Like a grab will be, like each of them has their own thing that they beat. In this, it's done a lot through that interrupt feature. So it's because you don't know what your opponent is doing. A lot of it is kind of kind of guesswork and stuff. You'll get more used to it as we play through. But the idea is, they can start their movement, they can start moving towards you, and then you can interrupt them with your thing if you're faster, right? That's kind of like how it plays out.
Yeah. So where wits plays into this is, say, for example, you both reveal your card and you're on the exact same speed. So for a tiebreaker, you go to wits. And if your wits is exactly the same, you go to dex. And if, for example, your dex is exactly the same, you just do a roll-off.
Okay.
All right.
So does dex cover everything like fireballs and everything like that?
Dex is your speed for every single maneuver out there. When you look at your maneuver, it'll say like dex plus 0 or dex minus 2, etc. So everything is based off dex. So, for example, my guy is quite a more beefy guy because jiu-jitsu is a lot more like wrestling. So I have a lower dex than my strength and stamina, for example. Now, the only other thing to mention with the interrupt is there is one thing you can do which is called an abort maneuver. And an abort maneuver is a block. So say, for example, you're on really low health. You go, right, I'm going to do this big jumping roundhouse kick to finish off my opponent. And then you find out they're quicker than you. And you go, uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, I'm going to abort my roundhouse jumping kick. And I'm going to abort to a block. A block is the only thing you can abort to. So then you block, and then next turn you go, I might want to go with something a bit quicker next time.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know if it's the same in the 20th version because I don't have it. I only have the original. But you specifically somebody asked about fireballs. I do know in the original version, a lot of those sort of focus, chi, whatever you want to call them, energy attacks, your intelligence becomes the...
That's true.
Intelligence, wits becomes speed, and intelligence becomes strength for like damage and when it happens purposes.
Yeah. And at rank 1, you'll impress everyone if you pull a fireball out. They'll be like, whoa!
All right. So it sounds complicated. It kind of is, but you get used to it as you go. And it is a little bit more crunchy. It is a 90s game, and we know how bad Old White Wolf combat was. So let's get used to that. What the cards help a lot, though. The cards help us in that. All right. So does everyone have attributes done now? Is there anyone who doesn't have attributes done?
Yeah, I've got my attributes.
Okay. I think that's everybody then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to abilities. So abilities, for anyone that has played the old White Wolf games, is also an identical thing. 974 is the numbers you're working with. And they start at 0, so you have to assign them accordingly. You're going to assign 9 to either talent, skills, and knowledges, 7 to one of the 2 remaining, and 4 to the last group. And then you start to plug those dots in accordingly. So let's say if I chose skills as my 4 group, I'd only get 4 dots to put into my skills.
By the way, there is one other really good benefit to doing a block, is when you do a block, your next move, the next round, has a +2 speed.
It was 9 what and 4?
9, 7, 4.
7 and 4.
What have you done?
All right, I'm gonna check in with people as we go. I'm gonna cherry pick for here. Jeremy, you're all done with your abilities?
Yeah, I've done everything. I'm just doing the combat cards now.
Great. Mark, where are you at in the process?
I am doing backgrounds, techniques.
Okay, so you're ahead there. What about Rebecca?
I had a question about some of the knowledge-based abilities, like mysteries and style lore.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want me to cover that?
Looking those up.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, mysteries is so if you remember the old Street Fighter game, you had Dalsim who could extend his limbs. You had Ryu who could do a fireball. So mysteries covers all of the really weird and interesting things out there in the world. So, yes, there are things like vampires and ghosts, and there's people who can use focus abilities to do strange and wonderful things. Style lore is being able to look at your opponent, look at how they're standing, look at how they're moving, look at how they're stretching, and go, I think that person does Kung Fu. And because they do Kung Fu, I think they're probably going to be focused more on kicks and maybe more flashy aerial stuff. So I might want to keep myself a bit lower. Or they might see someone warming up or shaping up and go, oh, that's a boxer. That's okay. He has no kick defense whatsoever.
For sure. Cool.
So it's good to always have at least one point in style lore.
Mm-hmm.
That actually brings up a question for me. If I wanted to have a character that had an ability that involves chi, would I have to have something in mystery?
Technically, no, but it's sort of like mystery is just the fact that you know about things that aren't normal. So if you were able to throw a fireball, for example, and you had nothing in mysteries, it'd be sort of like, how do you even know what a fireball is?
How do I do that? You're just...
So what is arena?
Knowledge of arena is so when you're looking at something like, for example, rank 1, which is where we probably are going to be starting. An arena for that might be a local parking garage. You know that street fights happen there on a Saturday night. So, if you go along to this particular local parking garage on a Saturday night, you can probably say to whoever's running it, hey, I'm up next, let me have a go. And that's right the way up to the big arenas that the World Warriors themselves use.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just basically knowledge of where to find an arena. So, for example, if you go to a new city and you sort of, if you've got an arena skill, you can ask around some people and go, oh, hey, I'm a rank 3, for example. Where's like a suitable arena? And I'm like, oh, well, there's actually a house owned by some rich people, and they've emptied their pool out, and they have the fighters fight in that. And it's at this address, but you might want to meet someone to get an invite, kind of thing. But at least you know about the arena.
All right. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and put stuff there. I am done with my abilities.
Awesome. Is anyone still on abilities right now?
A little bit, but I have a pretty decent idea of where I'm putting most of my stuff. It's just a matter of doing it. So we can move on and I'll catch up.
All right.
Can I do a quick metagame question, or is that sort of...
No?
Okay, I was going to say, does anybody have medicine?
Nope.
Yes.
A little.
Okay, cool. I originally did, but then I didn't have anything in mysteries, and since I want to have a chi ability, I was like, all right, well, I can take the point out of that, but I don't want to have metagame-wise. It's like, it's nice to know that somebody can, fix broken bones.
I basically really focused on alertness, insight, and blind fighting.
I also did
somebody to throw pocket sand, and all of a sudden, I'm defenseless.
I have noticed in a lot of games that are, people tend to. I've noticed this personally. Like a lot of times, people don't use points in sort of everyday skills like drive. So I put a couple points in that. So.
Right? It was like I'm usually the one in every game. I'm the one that has the drive skill, and like I was thinking about like my background. I'm like, I really want to put points into it. But it don't make sense for
I've
me.
played so many games that are in the real world where everybody's got this crazy esoteric knowledge and these weird combat abilities and this
No one knows how to
extraordinary
fucking drive.
scientific stuff, and no one knows how to drive. So,
I take the bus.
I mean, Ryu walks.
that's true. That is very true.
That shoes even.
All that cheesiness is right here in this.
That's why they were beating up those cars in the bonus stage.
Right? It's all coming together.
Which is also something you can do in this game. So
incredible.
yeah, there are rules for obstacles.
Don't park in Ryu's spot.
So that is the Steve Wake version that we'll be using for cartwheel kick. If you have it in your thing, that's how it works.
It's car wheel kick actually.
Okay. You just jump over a car and throw it at somebody. I can get behind that.
Are you actually using the car wheel? Is that the...
Yeah, you kicking it off.
Yeah. Okay.
You inadvertently hit John Wick's car.
As long as it's not his dog, you'll be fine.
What book was that originally in? The original version.
Player's Guide.
Oh, the Player's Guide. I don't have the Player's Guide. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
There was an outpour of anger. This game is a fairly crunchy game, and one who knows the rules is more likely to, I think that's any game, but, because there's potentially always the PvP element to this. Not really, though, but there is that option. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna go next to, we'll go to the next section of character creation, I guess, for now.
Oh yeah, I'm fully finished. By the way.
Okay, one sec. Gonna get to All right, so backgrounds. Well, not quite. Character creation. Yeah, so we'll go with backgrounds next. Sounds good. Everyone's got their styles picked, right? And you have your chi and willpower related to that?
Western, since there's no taekwondo, Western kickboxing has to do, which means I don't get a fireball?
A fireball is one of the common ones you can pick.
Okay.
So the different styles will give you almost like a discount in points on certain maneuvers, but there are other maneuvers that are available to everyone just at a higher cost.
Okay.
Okay, so for backgrounds, in the book that I sent, page 26 has the descriptors for them, if you need a little bit more detail. So allies are friends or family who support you. Animal companion is what it sounds like, your animal, your dog, your whatever, your hawk, helps you out. Arena is you have your own fighting area. Small garage or a giant stadium, depending on the level. Backing is an organization that offers assistance in exchange for your loyalty and favors. Clan heritage is your standing in one of the great ninja clans. Contact, people to whom you can turn to for information. So that's standard to like White Wolf. Fame is how well known and adored you are by the populace. So it's not the same as renown, just to clarify. It's not how well you're known because of your fighting. It's like an example of that might be
Bei Long, who is an
Bei Long,
actual
yeah.
actor.
Exactly, the Bruce Lee kind of vibe, right? Or Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat would be another good example. Manager is a person who arranges all the necessary logistics of your street fighting career. Resources is how much money you have, whether an investment or cold hard cash. Sensei is your martial arts teacher, the one responsible for training you in your style. And then staff is skilled, like a support team of some kind.
And
I'm
how
going
many points from this do we get?
5, I believe. But there's going to be an additional point. This is part of something free I'm going to give you guys. So you're going to get Jeremy, do you have the Sensei's dot level descriptors handy by chance?
I'm looking at it right now. If you need
what's
it.
level 5?
Level 5 is a true master who is somewhat accessible. A true master has mastered all of the special maneuvers associated with the style and has possibly created her own unique maneuvers. True masters often have a smattering of maneuvers from other styles. Oh, there's more. Having a skilled support team can make a tremendous difference for some Street Fighters. Staff can include students, personal
Oh, I
trainers.
think that's a different.
Oh,
That's staff.
Yeah,
I thought it was
that's staff. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a weird way they broke that up. I see what you.
Right.
They put staff at the very bottom of the page on that one. Okay, so, all of you are going to have for free, a sensei background of 4, or if that doesn't fit what you have, like if you come from somewhere where it doesn't make sense, you really didn't have someone that trained you or it didn't make sense, then you're gonna have a custom background called mentor. So difference being, mentor would be someone maybe out, like you know if you grew up as like Cody from Final Fight, where you like learned your abilities on the street, then you don't probably have a sensei, right? But you might have a mentor, like someone who's super skilled in a different martial art, who kind of guides you from a mental perspective, right? Like a coach, basically. So, and different than a manager, I want to make that clear. They're not involved in your career. They're more like just a mentor who you bounce ideas off of. They don't manage your day-to-day at all. So your call on whether you want to make that a sensei or a manager, this will tie into the storyline. So your call on how you want to do that.
If we put a couple of points in Sensei before this freebies that were given, do we just redirect them elsewhere or assume that was part of the cost? Okay.
Nope. Yeah, this one's for free, so you get those points elsewhere.
Can we have a sensei, someone who taught us and is like a mentor, and this sensei who has taken us to our next level?
Yes.
Cool.
And so then it's 5 more points in
4.
in the backgrounds, correct?
4 points.
Yeah.
4.
4. Okay.
Well, 4 for the mentor slash.
Oh yeah, 4 for that one. But then in terms of
Otherwise, it's
all
five.
of them,
Yeah.
5 points to distribute elsewhere, or 4.
It'd be 5.
5.
In total, you should have 9.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
got it. That's what I thought.
It turns out the guy at the YMCA actually really knows his stuff.
Yeah,
Damn,
like
you
I
knew
said,
what he
if
was
that
doing.
doesn't make sense, you can go with a mentor instead.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Maybe I'm going to say he was a retired Street Fighter of quite a decent rank, and now he's just getting on with his life and training the next generation,
Yep.
giving back to the community.
See, my thing is, my sensei is going to be a guy named Mr. Porter. He is a talented fighter, but he's only like a rank 3 sensei. He knows the advanced skills and moves and everything, but he's not a master. His master, and the guy I'm now learning from, is Ho Long Yi Lim, or Lim Ho Long Yi. Yeah, and it is technically a different style than what I use. At least that's the storyline I'm coming up with.
If it's a different style than what you use, then it's a mentor, not a sensei.
So, okay. So then,
I realize it's splitting hairs, but it just makes
no.
more sense.
I so then can my my Mr. Porter sensei be the mentor?
No. No, the guy with a different fighting style than you is not your sensei.
Okay.
Like, you can still
Got
treat
it.
him like that. You could even call him sensei, but for the purpose of the background, someone who has a different style than you is not your sensei.
Got it.
Very old school. This is before the days where MMA exists and has proven itself to be actually kind of. Anyways, we'll stay away from any debating.
Got
you
it.
know what I mean?
Te- so, I guess so. The storyline I'm coming up with is Mr. Porter, an American, learned from Ho Long Yi, a Korean, Taekwondo. He came back to the States. He's not a master, So he's teaching, his understanding of it, and it has fundamentally changed.
So you can
And
have
so-
a different. Okay, so there's styles like. This is where you have to get a little gray with it. If you want them to thematically have different schools, they're still the same style. Are they still both Taekwondo? If the answer to that is yes, their focus, their concentration, what they, the ethics of what they teach might be very different. The same way 3 Taekwondo schools in the same town might be drastically different, or the way Cobra Kai might be different from, Daniel's or Mr. Miyagi's teaching, right? Like it's that idea, right?
I do understand that, but I'm looking at it more as, since there is no Taekwondo, it is Thai kickboxing taught an American who westernized it and is teaching other people.
I'm fine with that. It's more about their relationship to you, so it doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That makes sense.
Any other questions on backgrounds?
I sent through my combat cards, by the way.
Awesome.
I need one more point of background.
I'll be right back. Gotta step away here.
Sure.
Anyone not sure anything or want to ask a question? Happy to help.
I'm trying to figure out one last thought of background at this point.
Have you got some resources? Always good to have something.
1 dot of resources.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
My guy has no money.
Good. Just someone that you can talk to, maybe get some information from. Like, for example, my guy has 3 points in contact street people.
I was thinking of an animal companion.
That's always fun.
I had
I'm
a
gonna take animal companion.
You could have a dog or something.
years ago. I had a D&D campaign where every person in the party had like animals. Some of them multiple ones, and it was such a pain in the ass that I've just made a hard rule. Like any game I run, nobody has them, but they are fun.
Now I just need to figure out what sort of animal do I want.
Where's your character from?
Oh, my character's from Texas.
Armadillo.
Character rocks in with a big cow.
Or a horse.
No, armadillo.
Just throwing it at people.
Exactly.
The Amarillo Armadillo.
Okay,
I'm
Bob,
not
roll
gonna
into
do
a ball.
that until I sit there and put more ranks into my armadillo. Once that happens, if I get 5 ranks into armadillo for some reason, yeah, that becomes a super move.
Turn into a ball. Turn into a ball, Bob. Turn into a ball. Good boy. Hurl him.
They're just booting him across the battlefield.
Ugh.
I'm not gonna kick him. I'm gonna throw him.
Very Road to El Dorado. Just have him sub in place of the ball.
Yeah.
Be the ball.
Bam.
I was thinking of I took my daughter to see something dragon, Raya and the Last Dragon, and the whatever the hell creature she rode.
Oh my goodness.
So
Who knows? Maybe my armadillo is a tiny one of those.
Yeah.
And as we travel along, he becomes one of those. Instead of riding a motorcycle, I ride him.
Hey.
Everyone finished backgrounds now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Techniques, I believe, is 8 points.
Okay.
And nothing above 3 to begin with.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. You can improve those later with freebie points, but nothing can start above 3 in techniques. So you can't like walk out with a kick of 5, for example. I mean, you can if you sink most of your freebie points into it, but yeah.
And unless things change, just as a point of reference, like if you want to block, you have to have a point in it, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So, for example, my guy has 0 in punch and kick because he doesn't punch or kick. He has 0 in focus because what's that all about?
So the one technique that's gonna ruin your day every day is the backflip kick. You come running at a backflip kick.
Yeah. See how it works for you?
Fortunately, it doesn't list the weapon I would like to use.
What weapon is that?
I mean, I'm sure you can guess.
Knife?
A spear.
No, the fucking
Shady.
boomerang.
Oh.
Did anyone in
I mean, we
Street
were-
Fighter have one?
I sincerely
We're
doubt.
talking about using an armadillo as a weapon.
So there are 3 different divisions in Street Fighter. There's what you call traditional. So, for example, a traditional tournament would be karate versus karate. Wrestling versus wrestling. That's traditional. You got your freestyle, which is sort of your MMA, anyone can take on anyone kind of thing. And then there's the third one, I can't remember the name of it at the moment. I think it's called Duelists from memory. That includes weapons, and that's the one where people end up dead very, very quickly. So you can't use a weapon in traditional or freestyle, or you'll find yourself having all of the referees come in and just absolutely pound the living hell out of you until you stop.
Well, you just wouldn't be allowed in with weapons. It'd be easy enough to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear free XP is saying something right now.
Okay, so where did we leave off with character creation?
We went on to the
Techniques.
technique. Yep.
And that was 8 points, correct?
Eight
With
Do you
points.
want?
no more than 3.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
3 max to begin with, and you can improve that later with freebie points.
Right.
So real quick, do you want to explain, Jeremy, the importance of combos and how they work?
Yeah, sure, no worries. All right, so when we get to our special maneuvers, which is where you're buying individual things. So, for example, you might buy the throw maneuver. Okay. Now, the throw maneuver is very slow. It's got a speed of -2. So, my guy, for example, with a dex of 3, his throw goes on a 1. It is super, super slow. Now, if I spend one of my special maneuver points to buy a combo, I could, for example, have move, which is quite quick, get myself into position, and then throw. Now, because that's the second part of my combo, it gets a +2 speed. So my throw would go from a 1 speed to a 3 speed, which is reasonable. You can build your combos out more than that, but to begin with, I kind of wouldn't. You can theoretically get up to a 3-move combo with a dizzy.
I'd be careful. I'd be careful with anything that seems like it's really difficult to pull off. Like, for example, fireballs is another example of like, don't overspend. Don't, for lack of a better phrase, blow your wad on those things. You'll get them again. We're gonna do fairly big rank ups in this game because we're not drawing out a prolonged campaign. So you guys are gonna find yourselves more quickly than normal getting those big rank ups, and that might be more thematically fun to not just like all of a sudden start with it. Like, you know what I mean? If you're starting pretty green, having a fireball in this era, it's doable. It's just not necessarily recommended or right out of the box.
Satisfying.
Yeah. And you're not gonna have the points to do all the basics, and you're gonna find yourself really frustrated. That's what I remember. Jeremy, do you disagree with anything there?
Yeah, starting with something very, very simple. Like, for example, when I would start my characters before, I would start them with punch defense and kick defense. So they at least would be able to know how to block a punch, know how to block a kick. Without spending any points in anything, you get 3 basic punches and 3 basic kicks that you don't have to spend any points into. So even though my guy does not have any points in kick, I can still technically do a kick. I just suck at it. But yeah, having something simple to begin with is very good. I remember creating a character one time and I spent all my points into being able to do a turbo spinning pile driver like Zangief. But that's all that person could do. And the problem is you actually lose glory and honor, which is a mechanic we'll get to later, for pulling off the same maneuver that someone is susceptible to, because the fans who are watching it go, well, this is boring, you're just doing the same thing every single time. And people actually want to see Street Fighters come together and clash. If you got one Street Fighter who can just dance around everybody and hit them and then like bounce off them and never be able to get hit, the fans go, yeah, that was kind of cool and incredibly boring, so I don't want to watch that guy again. And when people don't watch, then the money for how much is going to be paid for a win drops dramatically, and agents just look at you and go, I'm not going to put you in the ring because you're too boring.
It's like me when I get handed the controller to a fighting game. Like, I just button mash and then I figure out one move that I can do, and then I spam the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It's not fun for anybody, not even me, who's the one doing it.
The Mortal Kombat foot sweep. All right.
Specifically in Soul Calibur, Cassandra has this one like move where she just kind of gets low and slashes, and oh boy, I used that one a lot.
That's fair.
So being able to do a whole bunch of stuff at low levels is pretty good. And as our GM said, we're going to get some pretty big upgrades as we go along. So, you'll be able to build into other things. But also the fact that if you spend a whole bunch of points into being able to do one big thing, then people are going to work out very, very quickly that's the only one big thing that you can do. So then they'll just work out the counter to what that one big thing is, and then you stop.
Which happens to me every time I play a fighting game against people. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because combos are hard.
They're so hard.
Do we have do we have folks pretty much filled out in the technique area?
I am, yes.
I've done techniques.
Let's move to special maneuvers.
7 points.
7 points indeed. So I guess it was a good timing with the combos then.
Combos, yeah. So a combo costs you one of those 7 if you want to put 2 moves together.
You have to have those 2 moves to build a combo, right? But it allows you to both moves to effectively go off in a chain. Is that that's how that works, right?
Yeah, so essentially it just means your second maneuver will have a +2 speed. So just like in boxing, for example, it's like, if you get your first thing off and the second one and the third one, etc., etc. So a good combo to have is move plus a slow thing that you do. So you can sort of get yourself into a position. You don't really do anything in your first turn, but you get yourself into the position you want to be in, because you don't start a fight standing right next to each other. I think it's something like 9 squares away from each other or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's far away.
You do have to close that distance. And some of the big hitting things, you've only got to move of like 1 or 2, for example. So that's how many. Oh, we should probably discuss move actually. Move on your on each of your techniques. It'll say how far you can move. Move will often be your athletics +1, +0, -1, whatever. Or it might just say move 1, which means you can only move 1 square. So how that works is, before you do your maneuver, you can move up to whatever your move says, then do your attack, then you're done. There's no moving after your attack. There are a couple of exceptions, like for example, someone mentioned backflip kick before, but typically you move, do your attack, that's it, you're done.
What if it has a negative value for the move? Does that mean you have to move less than that number?
No,
Take
so
your
what I mean,
dexterity and subtract it from it.
no, it's not dexterity, it's athletics.
Oh, sorry. Right, correct. Sorry about that.
Okay, so it's based on
Dexterity is speed, athletics is how far you can move. So say, for example, you have an athletics of 2, and your move says move -1. It means you can move 1 square, then do your thing. And there are going to be rounds, guys, where you plan to do something, and you're just not close enough to be able to do it that round. So the round ends with people preparing to do something and then nothing actually happening.
If your moves go into negatives, does that just mean it happens if you don't move at all? It's in the same square?
Yeah, move 0.
Yeah.
So you probably want to have at least a point or 2 in athletics, if you don't already. Otherwise, you won't be moving very far at all.
Good to know. Man, you gotta be careful where you spend your technique points.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more crunchy, I think, than, obviously like a modern game wouldn't do it this way. But it's fun from a strategic, if you like strategy at all, it's got some cool stuff. It plays out to be kind of fun that way.
Having never actually played it, but the theory, when I read it over and over again, I like the idea of this seems to make things a lot more interesting than just, a lot of games where, oh, I brawl. What the hell does that mean? Whatever you want, so.
That's a point which I should probably bring that up. There's 3 levels of combat. So there's aerial, like a jumping maneuver. There's standing, and then there's crouching. So, for example, something like a foot sweep, I think, for example, is a crouching maneuver. Something like a flash kick, for example, is an aerial maneuver. Now, if you have 2 people and one of them's doing a crouching maneuver and one of them's doing an aerial maneuver, you miss each other. Because one's too low and one's too high.
Just like a fighting game.
Yeah, just like a fighting game, exactly. The way to stop Chun-Li from doing that big kick that she does is just duck down and go, yeah, cool, that was fun.
A lot of aerial maneuvers are also they'll throw in there as a way to avoid projectiles.
Yeah, jump is a good technique to have. I mean, I have jump and jump is one of those ones that you can put together with something. So, for example, the hardest kick you can do is a roundhouse kick. That's just one of your standard 3 kicks. And you might go, okay, I'm going to do a jumping roundhouse kick, for example. You can't do a crouch with a maneuver. You can do it with a block. So, for example, you could crouch down and block, but you can't, for example, do a crouching roundhouse kick because obviously that just doesn't work, or a crouching piercing punch. That just doesn't work either. So if you've got someone doing some big fancy aerial maneuver, you just crouch down and do a block and they just completely miss you.
Mark, are you going with a kangaroo boxing?
Partially, yeah. My idea is basically he started off in Australia doing matches where he'd fight animals, including kangaroos. That's kind of how he learned his technique.
I thought you might. I thought you were going with the doubling down on the stereotypes.
Oh, I am.
Speaking as an Australian, a kangaroo will absolutely wreck you.
I know.
Unless,
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes it so impressive.
Yeah.
unless you see that video of the kangaroo that is attacking some guy's dog, and he just walked over and just king hit the kangaroo right in the head. The kangaroo just looked at him like, "What did you just do?"
Yeah,
And then just.
I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed.
Yeah, it's just like kangaroo's just like looking at him. It's like, I mean, I can
Excuse me?
trick you, but points for balls on that one, fun. Yeah, I'm out of here. Many years ago, I was on a radio show in Georgia, and they said, "Oh, people talk about kangaroos are tough, but really, how tough are they?" I said, "Oh, well, what's the biggest, nastiest creature you've got in America?" I said, "Oh, no, probably like a grizzly bear or something." I said, "All right, fair enough. Let's put a grizzly bear up against an Australian big red kangaroo." Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. The kangaroo just leans back on its tail and thumps the grizzly bear in the chest with its hind legs, caves its ribcage in, and kills it instantly.
Goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
That grizzly bear is dead.
Oh, yeah. These things are tall. I'm 2 meters tall, right? These things can get taller than I can and just jump like 3-4 meters in the air. So you can imagine how strong those legs must be.
Yeah, the absolute power they have in their legs is insane.
It is.
So you're the Zangief of Australia, where instead of grabbing bears and crashing them, you're grabbing kangaroos.
Exactly. I know there was a thing for a while where there was a guy that boxed a kangaroo. However, the kangaroo was trained so it specifically didn't kick him, because it would have killed him.
So, I've got a question.
Yes.
Cool. Zen No Mind. Flavor-wise, it reads like Ultra Instinct from Dragon Ball Super or like Muscle Memory. But when I read the mechanics, the system for it, it says basically you choose one of 3 options, everyone kicks your ass, and then you get to do one of those.
Let me have a look.
It might be something you use at the beginning of a fight when you're away from the enemy.
No, he's right.
Is it?
Yeah, the player can select 3 combat cards from the character's deck. So basically you go, okay, I'm either going to do A, B, or C. The character then must wait until everyone else has performed movement and attacks that turn. At the very end of the turn, the player can select one of the 3 combat cards and immediately use it as the character's action.
So make your character fast so you can interrupt people.
Okay.
Might be a good thing when you've already got distance cleared on them, right? Because then they start bridging the gap, and then you interrupt them.
You need them.
Yeah. So that one, you won't interrupt them with anything because they will do their attack and finish their attack completely. Then you'll get to do one of the 3 that you chose. So the way that you would do that, if you wanted to do it, it's a tricky one to do for someone who's new. But the way you would do that is you get, as someone said, you get some distance. You go, okay, I'm pretty sure they can't attack me from this range. And then I'm going to do this one, or this one.
Okay.
Okay, my fault. I mistook when you said move. I didn't realize that meant also the attack. Sorry.
Okay.
It's not one I recommend. It's one of those what do they call it? Pro gamer moves. It's one that if you really know the system well and you know how to do it, then you could get reasonable use out of it. And if you don't, you're just gonna die horribly in a big fireball.
Then it's probably not something I should go for.
Yeah,
Not right away. Yeah.
Like
Is there-
I viewed it. I was hoping it would come out to be something like, you can interrupt people easier because you're going last. You get that interruption with one of the 3 things you choose.
Or I was wondering, and maybe there is such a maneuver, but I would think where if I'm understanding this game correctly, which I think I am, like everybody picks a maneuver, a card. It would instead give you like, you can pick 2 or 3 and then, choose whichever one is better based on what your opponent's doing or something.
Yeah.
But your opponent will do their entire
Always go
action.
first.
No, right. I'm saying if it was, is there a maneuver like what I was saying? I would think that would be a better sort of, the Zen master who can sort of see what his opponent's doing game mechanically. I'm wondering if there is such a maneuver.
I don't think there is, because that would be incredibly OP.
You mean like cartwheel kick?
Believe it or not, cartwheel kick wasn't the worst. You can actually make a character, and I've done it before, where you can't get hit because you choose all these things that have move after the attack, where you just bounce off people and do things like that. And yeah, it's a really boring thing to do. And what ends up happening is no one will put you in a fight because no one can touch you. It's just a very boring match.
And out of curiosity, the number is just like counting towards your total 8-point value, not you have to have this much in, like if it's a 4, you don't have to have, say, 4 in punch in order to take it, or you do.
Right, so when you look at the prerequisites, so if you look on the Discord there where he's put the cartwheel kick in there, so you've got to have kick 2, you've got to have athletics 2, or you can't have cartwheel kick. And then cartwheel kick, depending on what style you have. So, for example, you can see capoeira, ninjutsu, and wushu. They get it for 2 points. Anybody else can get it for 3.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, so you got 7 points total.
Yeah. So the prerequisites, if you don't have punch 4 and it requires punch 4, you can't pick it. You'd have to get a punch 4, which is how you can kind of judge if a move is more advanced, is if it's like those high numbers, it doesn't probably expect you to start with that, or at least it makes you have to choose to be highly specialized in that to be able to pick that up.
So, like, for example, if you look at Flaming Dragon Punch, okay, its prerequisites are Punch 5, Focus 2, and Dragon Punch, which is another one. Dragon Punch itself has prerequisites of Jump and Power Uppercut. So just to be able to get up to Flaming Dragon Punch, you've got to have Jump, Power Uppercut, Dragon Punch, Punch 5, Focus 2, just to be able to get Flaming Dragon Punch.
Which means, you're not starting out as Ryu or Ken Masters, one of the best world warriors in the setting at character creation, which is kind of what it aims to do, right?
Yeah.
I think it would have, if the system, those old systems, they tried to say, we're not going to say no. We're just going to make it seem really stupid not to do it. That's like old school gaming. That's exactly it. So if you see those things that seem wildly like hard to do, it's not a challenge. Don't be like challenge accepted. Walk away from it. Walk away from it. Get used to the system with more straightforward maneuvers if you can. And then you can pick those up as your go-tos as we level up.
So there's one adventure they released which was called Perfect Warrior, where you get to find this really old, incredible kung fu master who taught an incredibly rare form of kung fu called Majestic Crow Kung Fu. And his student, you see him in a tournament and he does this one move that just absolutely horrifies everybody, which is called Rising Storm Crow. And what it is you walk up to someone, flip over their head whilst grabbing like parts of their face and squeezing, and then you flip them back over again. So it does 2 lots of damage. To actually watch that happen, everyone's just like, "Oh my god!" And those people who have a really high style law and know kung fu and have a really high style law go, "Oh my god, I know what that is, I know what that is, I know what that is, and why the hell do you know that? How the hell do you know that? And where is your teacher?"
Nice.
Because I'm going to beg for him to teach me.
Do I? All right, I have my maneuvers. No combos, but I have maneuvers.
Well, you don't need to start with a combo. And as you progress up and you see how combos work, then you go, okay, so now I know how everything works. When I get my first lot of XP or something, I'm going to chuck these 2 things together or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to see how it works first before I start messing around with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, each guy has 2 combos, but my 2 combos are like move, do this, or block, do that.
Right. How do you make combos again, out of curiosity?
It's just one of your points. So you've got 7
point to
points to use.
combine moves to make a combo.
Yeah.
Okay. And they activate one after another, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And the second one gets +2 speed.
Hey, if I take blocking maneuvers and I abort, can I use those maneuvers, or am I just using block?
Yeah, no, so an abort maneuver is just to a block. You can also abort to a jump, I believe I was just reading before. But that's a basic block. That's not like a Makawara or any sort of fancy sort of block.
Okay.
That's just aborting to a standard block. Because some of the blocks are pretty insane. Makawara, for example.
I have a punch and I have 2 kicks. Technically 3 kicks, but okay.
It works.
Wait, hold up. I need to check some. I might not be able to take this.
Yeah, always check the prerequisites, because that's important.
Crap.
There we go.
Can't take this.
The Makawara block is mental. It's I hit you, you have Makawara, I hurt myself.
I always liked the text for one of the reflections where it was like, you can reflect any number of attacks. Yes, any number.
There is energy reflection in here and missile reflection as well. They're just really hard to do. But if you look at someone like Balrog, do you guys know the whole mix-up with that from the Japanese?
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't a mix-up. It was on purpose. Avoid lawsuit move.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Because M. Bison was meant to be the boxer, as in Mike Tyson.
Yes.
And Balrog was meant to be the big, shadowy head of the Shadowloo organization. But then, no.
I thought. One sec.
Why did they change Shadowloo to Shadow Law? I was always curious about that as well.
It was Shadow Law originally, and then they changed it to Shadowloo.
Is there a reason why? Was Shadow Law, licensed by somebody? That would be my guess.
I liked Shadowloo. I didn't like Shadow Law. I thought it was a bit too tacky.
I think Shadowloo sounds like they're going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the midnight trip to the bathroom. It's like I can't have the lights on, or else I will wake up too much.
I'm guessing one of the terms was trademarked. Would be my guess. Is that why they did that?
Yeah, and actually, just to get the naming thing right too, there was actually a 3-person swap. So M. Bison was originally the boxer, Balrog was originally the the guy with the mask and the claw, and then Vega was the name of who we know as M. Bison, and then they did like a 3-person shuffle. I don't quite understand why maybe they went with I don't know why they changed all 3. It seems weird.
Do the shuffle.
Well, to be fair, Vega is Spanish, so I guess that kind of fits. But the other
Vega a
two,
lot.
Vega's a nut job. Let's just make that absolutely clear.
Yeah, Vega is very much my like type of character.
Insane.
Yeah, I adore him.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
Okay, so just gonna do a quick check-in. Where's everyone at in the process? Who's done? Who's done? Let's start there.
I'm
That's 1, 2,
basically done. I have like
4.
7, right? 7 points. I either have 1 or 2 more points to spend, but
I'm close to finalizing my maneuvers.
yeah.
Yeah, so that cost me 1, that cost me 1, that cost me. Then that put me at another 1. That's 4. Then that's 1. I got 2 more left. And really no athletics or, well, maybe. We got 2 left.
Jump is a good one to have for everybody. It's just a really good utility sort of thing to have.
Plus, it's a good setup for a combo.
Yeah.
Alright, I have my last one. I'm gonna take slide pick.
But mentioning combos before when people were saying about different things. So say, for example, the first part of your combo was forward kick. You can still do, like, for example, a jumping forward kick, and that still be the first part of your combo.
Jump is something you can add on to the move.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Good to know.
It's like, for example, my guy's got block. I could do a crouching block, for example. I could do technically a jumping block, I guess, if I really wanted to.
I don't.
I mean, if you're gonna do one of those weird catch your opponent in the air blocks.
That's air throw. That's what I'm getting when I get some XP, because that's fantastic. Air throw is what shuts down aerial maneuvers. It's like, oh, you're jumping at me. That's cool. Let me grab you and throw you on the ground.
Okay. Okay. I've only got 2. That matters. Okay, I can still do it. Cool. Alright.
And it is
Alright.
8, correct?
7.
7? Alright, yeah, then I'm good.
Alright, I have 7. 2.
Need to get rid of one of these. I'll get rid of this one for now.
Believe it or not, there is actually a focus ability called musical accompaniment.
I saw that. I was. Ooh, it took all of my willpower.
I almost.
Not.
I was about to sit there and get it, and my musical accompaniment was going to be dueling banjos.
Of course.
So if
Ding, 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 ding.
you've ever seen the movie The Quest, the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, there's 2 fighters in the Gun Gang, which is the big rank 10 tournament, that use musical accompaniment. There's the capoeira guy and there's the African guy.
Alright, I am done with my maneuvers.
Me as well.
Anybody left maneuvering? Alright.
Matt, where are you at?
Me? I'm done.
I didn't say you. I didn't say you. I
Oh,
said Matt,
sorry.
where are you at?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm done. Yep. I had my I wasn't paying attention. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. All right. So it sounds like no one's saying they're not done. Here's the gist, and I'm sure this is going to be a bummer for everyone, but we do really not have enough time to get things going at this point. So we're going to have to put a parking lot here. But I want to talk to you all real quick about your characters. I want you to send me whatever your 4-point either sensei or mentor is. I want you to DM me in Discord what that is. That is where we're starting with this plot in the prologue. So when we kick off next session, we'll be diving into a tiny bit of roleplay, a little bit of action, and from there you guys will have some opportunities to decide where the plot advances. There will be opportunities towards beat 'em up, and there will be opportunities towards actual tournament style play through this little short series. So you'll see where it goes. Any questions before we close her off?
Yeah, they've still got their freebie points to spend.
Oh yes, good point. Let's get that done while we're here. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, so if you felt stretched thin before, now know that you got the extra freebie points. Is it 15 or 10? I can't remember.
It's 15, but different things cost different amounts. Just trying to find where it is.
Should be in the character creation section.
Yeah. There's a chart. Here we go. So if you go to page number... Oh, it doesn't have a page number. That's helpful. 27. Page 27, and you'll see on the right-hand side there it's got freebie points. So for example, you got 15 freebie points. So for example, if you wanted to increase your dex from 2 to 3, for example, you could those. Powers means technique. So if you wanted to buy another 1-point technique, that'd cost you 4. Or if you wanted to buy a 3-point technique, that'd cost you 12.
If Rebecca and I have the same Sifu in our character concepts, is that or sensei? Is that a problem?
No.
Okay.
Well, I should add this. It's not a problem from the DM perspective.
No, that's something
Okay.
that we fully
Okay.
discussed beforehand. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I think your concept was more tied to your sensei as far as your
Yeah.
concept. So.
Techniques is maneuvers and powers are techniques? Or is it the other way around?
No, techniques.
Techniques are the
Techniques is...
powers are the maneuvers. Techniques are the
Okay.
other stuff.
Yeah, techniques is like punch, kick, block, etc. Powers is your maneuvers, like your slide kick or power uppercut, etc.
Or combos.
Or combos, yeah. If you wanted to build yourself a combo now, that'd cost you 4 points to put 2 moves together.
Also, for those who have or haven't played, I guess, with this stuff, note the chi and willpower costs on any of your advanced maneuvers you chose, and consider potentially raising them as well if you're going to want to use it more than once in a fight. You're probably going to need that.
At this point, I'm just trying to have all my techniques and my 2 important ones good.
Yeah.
So I'll at least have a 1 in everything, 3 in kick and block, and then 2 in punch.
And don't forget, you get the 3 basic punches and the 3 basic kicks.
Yep.
That you don't need to pay anything for.
Even if
That's 5, 10, 15.
Sure, even if you have a 0 in something. I mean, I have a 1 in punch and 3 in kick, but if I had a 0 in one of them, I still get the 3 basic kicks or punches.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I have a
I'm
0 in
kick, but I can
the only
still
one I
do
have a. Go ahead, sorry.
Just remember, the whole point is with damage, it's your stat plus whatever you've got in punch or kick or whatever it is that works out your damage. So, for example, I have 0 in punch. I mean, sure, I can do a fierce punch if I want that gives me +2, but that means I'm only doing my strength +2 because I have 0 in punch. So I'm probably not going to be doing much at all.
I have a 0 in grab. That's the only technique I have a 0 in. So does that mean I have no grabs, no throws?
No, you
Yeah.
do.
You have a basic grab, but you don't have a throw.
Yeah. Got it.
And it also means you're not going to rely on grab very much. If you
Right,
want to
correct.
do damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And grabs ignore block, just so people are aware of that.
Just stepping away for a sec.
You put your guard up to block, and the person goes, "Oh, something for me to grab. Thank you." Yoink.
Ooh, armies.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I have all of it done. I spent everything on my techniques. I am average McAverage.
By the way, as it says on page 17, Australia has yet to produce a World Warrior fighter. Although the sport is catching on here, in outback bars, the drinks flow as mini tournaments are held, run by bar owners desperate for new entertainment. The outback hold rumours of a hot new fighter, a fellow who has somehow learned powerful kicks from kangaroos and weird magic from Aboriginal shamans. Whether this mysterious fella, if he exists, will show himself to the world remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, I think maybe you do need to have 1 in punch or kick to be able to get the 3 basics. Because I'm looking at my combat cards and I don't get them. I'll have to check. See if I can find it somewhere.
All right. I do have to go.
Me as
Okay.
well.
Fair enough.
I will make sure that Bob gets that little blurb about my master.
It's okay, folks. We're going to drop off here anyways. Thanks for
So,
coming along, and we'll meet up same time next week. Take
all
care.
right.
Bye, everyone.
So, a good day, night, morning, whatever time it is for you.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good
care.
day.